So when you do that, you give the other person the chance to steer the relationship in the way that serves their own needs while not taking into account your own needs. And such a situation will only end with the other party feeling resentful after a while, because you ceded the power to steer the relationship in a way that is mutually fulfilling for the parties in that relationship. So yes, there's a part of the qualities for being in a relationship is being responsible and being accountable. Accountable for yourself, not just to your partner. Accountable for yourself, your role within that relationship. Whatever, how the relationship goes, can't really be the fault of just one party. So if I come and I am always placing the needs of the other person above mine, then I am not doing myself or the relationship any good. In fact, I am laying the grounds for a one-sided relationship that would eventually fall apart. And a lot of us find ourselves doing that because we want to, appear as good, in quote. But there's a place for boundaries, healthy boundaries in a relationship. And I think for people already in relationships and people who are aspiring or plan to be in relationships, they first need to know who they are, what they want out of a relationship, and what their boundaries are before deciding to even go into a relationship with another person. I'm not saying build a wall.
To even start with, when you're talking about loving someone, let me explain this. Before that, if you didn't see the beginning of this conversation, make sure you see it here. We misunderstand even the very term, the very phrase, loving someone. I love someone. See, we really need to understand that something has happened to us as human beings. What has happened is that we think that the things that we do every day are the right way to do things because that's what we're observing, right? And so we automatically imbibe these things and we do them. I say that loving someone and having a relationship that is fulfilling will be a very different thing if you understood that instead of saying that I love someone or loving someone, I love myself. And I'm not talking about self-love, right? I'm saying that if I showed up there, like it is with myself, because if we want to go and look at the sages, I want to go and look at the old wise ones, the sayings of old. If you want to look at all the sayings that were passed to us, when we hear that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. You hear, love your neighbor as yourself. At the end of it, what it actually means is that you are me and I am you, right? So if I have that idea in my mind, normally this is how I operate. When I am now getting into a relationship with another human being who is in another human form, and I can see that person as it is just another me, right? It's another me. When I'm even entering that relationship, I will not be going into that relationship with the intention to impress them, right? So I won't go in there and certain things will happen that they're not making sense. It's like me trying to walk through a fence that has barbed wire. As I'm trying to walk through that fence and it scratches me, I will stop immediately, right? I won't continue. So but when you have the idea that you're going into a relationship with someone, when you get to something and they present you a difficulty, they make something hard, you begin to contort yourself to try to accommodate it. But if you are dealing with yourself by yourself, you will know this is an uncomfortable place for me. I'm not supposed to be squeezing myself through this barbed wire that will tear my skin, right? So you will take a step back, right? But unfortunately, what we have learned is that the therapists say have a conversation, have conversations. This is why I say that talking about counseling and all those things that we're told, we have to be very careful because it's a way of doing things. All those things are supposed to be for when a relationship is hard, right? And you are stuck in it. It is not for you to do things so that you can make a relationship that shouldn't even be. Find a way to squeeze and make it work. So, this is wisdom that was passed on to us as humans as a way to conduct ourselves and our relationships, but we have misunderstood it or misinterpreted it or have totally ignored it. Because if we can reframe things in our mind, like when you're dealing with someone else, when it says be your brother's keeper or love your neighbor as yourself, you will not diminish yourself or diminish the other person. You will not put the other person on a pedestal. You wouldn't put yourself on a pedestal. So it makes it easy for us to know how to comport ourselves in our relationships. And that way we can have a balanced relationship. There is no overthinking there. It will make it easier for us to take decisions in our relationships. We will always know what to do, because if you're dealing with yourself, you're not going to be performing. So it's just a mindset reframe. And this is the only way that we can have a balanced relationship. And this is why how it will even be easy to know when we're in the right relationship. Because if you're doing something with yourself by yourself, if it's not working, you know you're going to take a step back. However, when you're looking at a relationship as you're dealing with someone else, you begin to think of ways to make this person see things in a different way. But you already see what is there. It is just your mind that now starts to fabricate things. But if you were dealing with yourself, you wouldn't be fabricating things. So that's a mindset reframe that makes relationships easier, and you won't even be having problems in relationships if you could adopt this. This isn't something that we're coming up by ourselves. It is wisdom from ages past. We just haven't been used to thinking in that way. And we need to do that now, instead of listening to allowing ourselves to be carried away with the noise in the world. Just stay still and take in the wisdom that are supposed to be the blueprints, guidelines for us to live fulfilled and happy. This is why most seminars and therapy won't help you. You get the relationship that you are qualified for. You actually get the one that you're qualified for at that time, even though it sounds painful, right? The older that I get, the more the more shocking these discoveries seem to be. For instance,
Sure.
you know,
You know,
you
you
cannot
cannot
you
you
cannot have
cannot have
anything that
anything
you're
that
not
you're not
qualified for
qualified for
to
to
start with.
start with.
And
And
a lot
a
of
lot of
us,
us,
it'll
it
come
will come
to
to
us as a
us as a
surprise
surprise
that,
that,
and this is
and this is
actually
actually
why
why
our relationships even struggle, because we aren't, it is
right.
unsafe. It's unsafe to listen to. See, social media has become very unsafe now because everybody has access to social media. And people who aren't self aware, when they have relationship problems, they'll run to social media to say people just treat you carelessly, this, that, that. Know your worth, stand on your worth, stand on your value. Stand on your worth, stand on your value. Those are true. But they will mislead us if we don't know that we haven't. It's not about I need this person to, I'm standing on my value, I'm standing on my worth. I need this person to give me that respect, right? If I haven't learned to respect myself, I will never get it. So I will leave this relationship. By the way, these conversations are meant to help people who have had failed relationships to understand and uncover the reasons those relationships failed, so that they can now address what the blind spots were